Hey guys, this is AI Gaming 1776, and on your left what you're looking at is Far Cry 4 on a PC. The graphics card is a GTX 745 OEM that came with the computer. It's at 1600 by 900 and all of the settings are low. On the right is an Xbox One and Far Cry 4. Now, I did that because I think Xbox One's Far Cry 4 runs at 1440 by 1080, and that option's not available on the PC. So I went with 1600 by 900 on the PC because that's kind of close to 1440 by 1080. I know you could argue that I could have just done the 1920 by 1080. I don't know. There was no way to do exact. But this will also make things a little more favorable for the PC because the PC won't have to push as many pixels, and it can maybe run at a higher frame rate. I think I have vsync off. Yeah, because I made a video before and somebody had mentioned I should have had vsync off. Now, I kind of disagree with that, but you know, whatever. I'm trying to be a how do you say a team player? I don't know. Maybe team player is not the right word. Anyway, trying to be a good sport. All right, so what I've done is we are at the Kairati T Terrace safe house, I believe, and I went through the trouble to get it to be pretty much the exact same time of day on both Far Cry 4 games. Little hand on the 1, big hands on the 3 to your left, and it's a little past the 2 on your right. It's they were both on the 2, but I had to do something to reframe the picture on the Xbox One, so like they're both kind of framed more similar, more in a more similar fashion. Anyway, let's get going. I'll show you the settings real quick. It is 1600 by 900. It's full screen. That matters to me. A lot of people say, oh, well, the GTX 745, it can run the game so much better, blah, 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 than you say it can. But then they admit that it's at 720p or it's at a notebook resolution or it's in a windowed mode of some sort. So I go with full screen. And I'll tell you why. If I'm PC gaming, and PC gaming is supposed to be so much superior to the consoles, I surely don't want to play in a window. I want full screen. Alright, so I have 2 controllers next to me, and yeah. This is going to be super interesting. Alright, so the screen on the left, they're both BenQs, they're both 1080. The screen on the left is the RL2455HM, and the screen on the right is the XL2420G. I made multiple videos about these 2 monitors, and I always tell you that the one on the left is more washed out. I prefer it overall, but it is more washed out. You can definitely tell in this video. I could probably change some contrast settings and make there be a little more parity, but the thing is, I actually have the screen on the left exactly how I want it. So I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to get past the using 2 controllers thing yet, to be honest with you. Oh, can we use the same weapon? There we go. I want to check something. Oh, yeah, there are Jaggies on the Xbox One. See, if you want to see how bad Jaggies are on Far Cry 4, there's a little test that I do. Okay, so the thing is here, let me try and make the pictures kind of similar. Far Cry 4 looks really good without anti-aliasing, but if you have the red dot sight on an assault rifle, possibly on other weapons too, I haven't really checked, but if you have the red dot sight on an assault rifle, and you look up at the sky and move around, you can actually see the Jaggies on the red dot sight. So, on the frame of it. Alright, trying to figure out how we're going to do this. Let me start on the PC. Where are we going to go? See, there's going to be screen tearing. Now look, I'm getting 30, I had 37 frames per second. Let me just run around for a minute. I had 37 frames per second. Now I'm at 40. Now I'm at 36. There's a fraps counter in the upper right hand corner. but I don't know how well you're going to see it. Where are these bad guys? Hey, they're in a blue truck. Ooh, he's in the truck, like in it, like it's like a bug. See, there's a guy in the truck, like he is fused with the. Oh, now he's going to sit in there like he's driving it. Yeah, he's just walking through the truck. All right, whatever. And cool, some guy all by himself in a friendly base. Inside of a friendly truck. Now he's under it. Hey guy. Alright, so let's run around with vsync off and with screen tearing. It's low 40s, high 30s. Although now it just went up to 47 frames per second. I chose the T-Terrace because I think this is a really pretty area of the game. It's got nice, pretty colors. Takes me to a happy place. And then when you have the settings turned up, like the terrain on Ultra and such, even these dirt mounds in the Terrace look pretty good. Yeah, the screen tearing is not insane. This is actually playable, but it is screen tearing. It is annoying. Now, with vsync off, the highest frame rate I've seen so far is 47 frames per second. Okay? Because they made the point. They said, oh, well, you have vsync on. How do we really know how powerful the 745 is with this game? So let me eat a little bit of crow. I made a video. It's for my videos. Remember, I have a small channel. For my videos, it's one of my more popular videos. That's weird. See, this tire was... Yeah, it's still blown out. Usually when you load the game, the vehicles are in pretty good working order. It's weird that there's a damaged vehicle there. Anyway, so I made a video called Are Games Playable on the 745? And I said that I felt like this wasn't very playable, but I probably used the wrong word. I probably, if we're going to be picky, shouldn't have said that this is not playable, because it is playable. Okay? I don't think it's necessarily a better experience than the Xbox One, in my opinion, but it is playable. Now, oh look, we're at VSync and it's in the mid 40s. That's something you guys got to understand about Far Cry. Far Cry 4, I should have said Far Cry 4. Far Cry 4 works really well with VSync on. It doesn't just give up and go down to 30 frames per second or whatever when it's struggling. It'll put up a fight. So VSync is set for 60 and we're at 44. We're getting the same frame rate now. Now let me tell you something about Far Cry 4. It does do a weird thing. On some days it performs better than others, and I have no idea why. And I mean that. I don't know why it's performing better on some days and worse on other days. Like right now, this is the best it has ever performed on my GTX 745. I made a video called Far Cry 4 Great Settings for my GTX 970 graphics card. And in that video, the first one I made, I was running the game at just about 60 frames per second with the GTX 970. Most of the settings were on very high or ultra. And here's where the important thing comes in. I had the game with MSAA times 4 for anti-aliasing, and it was holding 60 frames per second, sometimes in the 50s, but for the most part it held 60 frames per second, which is crazy. Because most of the time when I play Far Cry 4, I do have to turn anti-aliasing off to maintain 60 frames per second. And I mean maintain it, like solid 60 frames. See, let me explain that about my expectations. I've played plenty of games on PC with various graphics cards. GTX 9, the GTX 970, GTX 980, the GTX 750 Ti, the GTX 745. I've even used the integrated graphics. And I've played plenty of games where 80% of the time it's 60 frames per second, but then it yo-yos a lot. It rubber bands. It goes down to 30 frames per second. It goes down to 40 frames per second. Like, it swings. And I try to have my settings so that a game stays at 60. Now, I've reached a point where I'm okay if it stays in the low 50s to 60 with vsync on, and it bounces in that range. Because, like an 8 or 9 frame per second rubber banding isn't that bad. It's okay. So, anyway, with all that said, this is the best that Far Cry 4 has ever played with my GTX 745. Oh, I was trying to tell you. So when I made that video, great settings, Far Cry 4, something like that. I can put a link in the description box. Great settings, Far Cry 4, GTX 970. When I made the first video, it was keeping 60 frames per second with MSAA 4x4, which is unreal and never does that, ever. It's done it twice the entire time I've owned the game. And one of those times was when I made a video. Well, right now, the 745 with vsync on is keeping it in the 40s. This actually is pretty decent. This is not bad. Anyway, even if it was stuck at 30 right now, I still realize that when I know I'm bouncing around here when I talk about my previous videos, and I apologize. I'm trying to clarify here. I'm trying to make it easy to follow. So, going back to where I said that I was wrong initially, my video, our games playable on the 745, Far Cry 4, whatever the title is. I can have that in the link too, in the description box. During that video, the game was at 30 frames per second. And I said I felt like it wasn't playable because it didn't look as good as the Xbox One version. And it was 30 frames per second, just like the Xbox One version. So in my mind, I didn't consider that to be playable. But I now realize that that was unfair of me to say it's unplayable. Because I've done PC gaming long enough now. And I've played not Far Cry, but I've played Crysis 3. So I now realize that unplayable means something else. Unplayable does not mean I'm not happy with the graphics. So I apologize for that. Now, with that said, I've been marching around here, blah, blah, blah. And it's stayed in the 30s and 40s. Now, I haven't done anything deep. Let me go up here. Where I can go here, right? I'm trying to go somewhere where I can get into some action pretty quickly. Yeah, this is probably going to be the quickest place for me to get into some action. So, I just want to, before I move on to the Xbox One, I want to make sure, that this is not going to end up with a low frame rate when there's action. Because I was just hanging out in a place with nothing going on the screen. And yeah, it was keeping in the 40s, but nothing was going on the screen either. Oh man, you can't get to... I've done this before. Like, it looks like you're going to get to this outpost pretty quickly, but you don't. I've actually gone to this outpost for the sake of a video before. I probably should have looked for a car. I don't know. I'm kind of in an awkward spot up here with my safe houses versus where the action is. So we're on our way. We're marching. I'm half tempted to try to run with one hand on the left and then somehow play with one hand on the right. Because I actually feel bad. You know, I'm going to steal this guy's truck. Okay, check this out. Yeah, buddy. I'm taking your truck, homie. You know things are desperate when you're taking this to move faster. Because this truck is, like, ridiculously too slow. Yeah, no, this is not bad. This actually, I'm eating a lot of crow here. Because this is, whoa. You know what I'm doing? I'm used to playing Grand Theft Auto 5, so I was using the triggers to drive. Oops. There we go. Alright. So, yeah, no, this is playable, so, and this is, really isn't that bad. I mean, if all you have is 745, I'm telling you, what the heck? It says I'm going the wrong way. Am I? I don't know. I'm gonna keep pressing on. And then it should reroute me. I'm pretty sure I can go this way. Oops. Alright. Yeah, it still says I'm going the wrong way. Although I mean, I'm going the right way. I'm approaching. Oh, you know why? Because the truck wants me to go to an outpost that I've actually defeated. That's why. Alright, so here we are. Oh, and I tried to exit the vehicle like GTA too. I'm going to get murdered over here before I can even prove anything. I forgot that this outpost doesn't play around. And reinforcements are coming. Yeah. Oh, you know what? Let's throw some bait out. Come on, animales. Necesito los animales rapidito, por favor. Yeah, y'all didn't know I was going to go out for Machinima Latino, did you? Alright. Now I'm just going to randomly throw grenades. You know what? The guys in this game are too good at dodging grenades. Their grenade dodging game is way too strong. Yeah, cooked it, threw him. Alright. Feeling a little bit good about that. I think they're having to fight an animal because they're all looking away from me. This is going to be funny. Oh, the heavy guys in this game are annoying too. We're in the 30s for the frame rate. It normally does not perform this well. Keep that in mind. It usually stays around 30 frames per second. But again, that's still playable. I just might take this outpost, y'all. Might not. Oh, wait a minute. There's a ton of guys over here. There's a grip. There's a gang of homies. Should have cooked it. Yeah, I think that was like my only healing syringe, too. Hello? Donde está, bad guys? Yeah. Everything about this video was well thought out. Yeah. Alright. I don't know why I'm trying to take this. I actually didn't think I was going to pull it off, and now I'm trying. I think this is what old people used to call grit. Oops. Alright. That's not working out so well. And that's not working out. Alright. Now I'm going to die, which is what I expected the whole... Okay. We're done with that. Anyway, okay, so yeah, it stayed in the 30s most of the time. I'm kind of impressed. Now, one thing I like about this game is it does let you abandon ship. You can say, you know what? I'm getting smoked. I need a hot extraction. Look at this. Look at my health. Y'all thought this was a game. Look at my health. It's completely empty. It is 0 hit points. I'm trying to find... My vision's so blurred, I can't even find my bed. Yeah, I need to take a nap. So he's going to take a nap over here. Alright. There we go. Yeah, no, I'm eating crow. Of course it looks okay now. Alright, so now we're over here on the right. We're on the Xbox One. One thing that I super dislike about the Xbox One is that you cannot turn off motion blur. And I don't like motion blur. Not a fan of the motion blur. Oh, wow. Okay, I've got this sniper rifle. Alright. Alright, he's down. Yeah, the motion blur is crazy. Plus, I don't know if there's a joystick sensitivity adjustment. I'd have to look. You'd think I know by now, because check this out. I've cleared out pretty much the whole map on Xbox One. I've got 2 outposts left. I do have like some 4. I have 4 outposts left. I do have some story missions to still do, but I'm just about done on Xbox One. I got it on here first. So, oh wow, the bad guy's down here, terrorizing some poor NPC who is ineffectual at his job, or her job. Whatever. Not to bring gender into it, but, you know, I said his and it was her. Alright, so, with the Xbox One, and there's probably analysis of it somewhere out there. That's annoying me on the left side. There's probably analysis of it somewhere, but from what I can tell, some differences are Xbox One seems to have higher geometry, because remember, over here we were playing on low. So quality settings, motion blur off, and then everything is low and off. Off, low. Everything is low and off. I'll just leave it there. Alright, so anyway, over here, I would say that some kind of ambient occlusion is on the Xbox One version. I would say the geometry is at a higher setting. The terrain is definitely at a higher setting. Yeah, for sure. The terrain is at a higher setting. Geometry is at a higher setting. There is some form of ambient occlusion, probably SSAO if I had to guess. Although I don't know if consoles get their own version. I'm not sure. What else? Post effects, maybe? Let me go look at a corpse, and I will try to let you know. I think post effects are on. I mean, I can't prove it. I would say geometry is on high or very high. What is it on PC? Now, this is assuming that, yeah, there is high and very high. Okay, so geometry is probably on high or very high. This is assuming that they even would do... See the settings on the left? This is assuming that on a console, they would even have those settings to choose from. Okay? I mean, it's not like they have a graphics setting box on console. Maybe they do. Maybe they do. I don't know. I think when they optimize it, it could be effects and settings and choices that don't even exist on PC. I'm assuming. I don't know. Now the vegetation. I can't really tell. I'd say maybe the vegetation's on medium. Like I said, there's probably a website that's proving that on one hand I'm stupid because I'm making bad guesses, but on the other hand, it would probably prove that I'm right in the sense that it's definitely not low settings across the board. It's definitely not the low preset. I would say this definitely has ambient occlusion. It may even have a little bit of anti-aliasing. Maybe. I don't know. Or at least one of the filters that comes with anti-aliasing. Oh, this might have some kind of anisotropic filtering, which is not over here. Anisotropic, however you say the word, anisotropic filtering is not explicitly offered on PC. But, oh, you're still alive? But it seems to be wrapped in with the anti-aliasing. Like when you choose anti-aliasing, Far Cry 4 PC, when you choose the anti-aliasing, it seems to have some filtering built into it. I could be wrong, but that's what it kind of looks like. So, I don't know. When I do PC gaming, I expect it to look better than Xbox One. Now, vegetation and geometry are definitely much higher on Xbox One, and you can tell. On PC, it almost looks like a mid 2000s, early 2000s, like a almost like World of Warcraft. When you walk up on a flower, it's nowhere near as complex when you walk up on it. And the vegetation looks a lot, I guess, more terrible on the PC compared to this. So I would say this has ambient occlusion on the right. Xbox One, it has ambient occlusion. It has higher settings. It's not just low. And you don't have to even think about running the Xbox One in a windowed mode. So, I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm eating a little bit of crow for calling, or you know, you could even say I'm eating a lot of crow. I'm eating crow for saying, he's still alive? I'm eating crow for saying that it's unplayable on the 745. But it's definitely lower settings than the Xbox One. It's a lower resolution. No, that's not true. You can actually play in 1080 on PC. But it's still, I don't know, I think it's better on console. I don't have this on PS4, but from what I understand, PS4 actually does 1920 by 1080. So, I'd have to play it on there. But as it is, I already like it on the weaker console, that is the Xbox One. I already like the game on the Xbox One more than I like it when I play it on PC with the GTX 745. So, before I go, I'll just say that when I do PC gaming, I want to play full screen, I want to play 1080p, and to be honest with you, I do want to play 60 frames per second because anytime there's an argument over why PC is better than console, it's the fact that none of the console games, none of the big multi-platform games run at 60 frames per second. I mean, some of the shooters do, but Far Cry doesn't. There's more. I can't think right now. Obviously, the Order on PS4 was not multi-platform, but even on the PS4's own first-party game or second-party, however you want to look at it, even that couldn't run at 60 frames per second on their own hardware. The Order 1886, I think, is what I'm looking for. Well, I'm going to lose karma for that, buddy. But, so Far Cry 4, Assassin's Creed Unity, of course, those are both Ubisoft games. I think the Dragon Age game, Grand Theft Auto 5. So, most of these big AAA games do not run at 60 frames per second on either console. Now, some of them do run at 60 frames per second on the PS4, but I don't know if Dragon Age did or not on PS4. I'd have to look that up. But even if it did, I mean, it's still not going to be what you would expect from PC gaming. So when I do PC gaming, I really want it to be superior to console. You got to remember, I got an Xbox One during Christmas time. Not this one, but another one that I bought for a family member. I picked one up on sale for like $380, and it came with 2 games. That's basically the cost of my graphics card, because I use a GTX 970 most of the time. But even if you paid for the 745, it'd probably be like an $80 graphics card, and then you still have to have it inside of a PC, which requires an operating system, a motherboard, RAM, a storage situation, whether it's SSD or HDD. It needs a power supply. Any computer that has a GTX 745 in it when you buy it probably costs at least $500 or $600, possibly more. I feel bad for saying it, but my computer that came with 745 cost $1,000. Now I've seen it on sale for like $750 or $850, but it was $1,000 computer, and I think that's part of what had me in the frame of mind that I was when I made that video saying that Far Cry 4 is unplayable on it, because I felt like, did I really spend $1,000 for a game that kind of looks worse than the Xbox One version? And that's where I was coming from. I was disenfranchised with the gaming experience that the GTX 745 afforded me. But like I said, games are playable on it, especially if you're not playing freaking Far Cry 4. Okay, if you're playing Hearthstone, or if you're playing Dota, or any number of indie games, then it's obviously going to perform better. It's going to be less of an issue. Far Cry 4 is clearly a demanding game. So, anyway, this video I thought was going to work out better by having two screens going at the same time and two platforms going at the same time, but I don't really know if it worked out any better than if I would have just recorded footage from each game and then put it side by side with video editing software and made a video that way, because then you would have seen like the screens much better. Because like right now you got like two screens and they're both small, and I don't know, this was an experimentation. I may not even post the video, but I think I will. This channel is, don't be fooled by the date at which it says the channel was created. I didn't really start posting videos on it until the beginning of this year, which is 2015. I'm recording this in April. So not even half a year that I've really been putting content on here. Like actually making it a point to do so. So anyway, I'm still learning. I appreciate you guys watching, especially if you watched this whole video. I appreciate you guys subscribing. I appreciate the thumbs up. I appreciate all of it. I really like trying to help people compare products. I like product comparison. I like product reviewing. I like explaining how products work. Because here's what I've noticed, and this is what I'm going to say before I get off of here. If you notice, it's sometimes, even with the internet, it is sometimes hard to get real information on a product. You get the information from the company, sure, and they're going to say their product's great, but then you get information from reviewers. But the thing is, a lot of reviewers, first of all, they're not super thorough. Some of them are. Like the reason why Total Biscuit is popular in the gaming arena, I believe, I'll tell you why I like him. It's because he, hold on. Anyway, it's because he's objective. I mean, for the most part. Someone might say, no, he's not objective, and this is why. I don't know. But for the most part, he seems to be objective, and he doesn't seem to BS us just because he's friends with somebody or because he doesn't like somebody or whatever. He seems to be pretty honest and pretty objective, and he's very thorough, but most reviewers are not. Most reviewers are... I'll give you a good example. A lot of reviewers, when they look at a monitor or they look at a game, they play a game for 1 or 2 weeks and then they put the review up. Sometimes they play a game for less than a week before they have to have the review up. How can they possibly know all the nooks and crannies in the game? They've only played it for a week. And then look at Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat 10 or Mortal Kombat X on the PC just came out. And it came out in April on the same day as GTA 5, I believe. And what happened was, before the game went live, the review copies played a certain way, and everybody was like, oh, okay, well, this must be how the game plays. And then the game went live, and there was an update, and the game played a different way after the reviews were put out. So it's hard to be thorough when you're a professional reviewer, I think. And I'm like a citizen reviewer. So I try to be thorough. I try to be unbiased. I don't get free games. I don't get free hardware. I got to pay for all this myself. So, and that's the thing. Like if I tell you that I don't like a graphics card, it's because I paid for it with my own money and I had an expectation, and you can tell me my expectation was dumb. And that's fine. Maybe it was. But anyway, I just try to be real. Okay? I try to be real. I try to be objective. I try to give you guys the straight dope. And hopefully these videos are helpful. So this has been AI Gaming 1776. And I appreciate you guys watching.